Ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year. It is 2024 and we are officially back. We are back with a brand new podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jeriko.
Woo!
It's thank you, Judah. It's been tough coming up with new stuff on my own and coming up with new skills on how to organize this and to come up with new ideas and stuff like that. But I'm here now. I'm here with my good friend Judah, and we are going to get right into it. First thing I want to do is introduce you to the new face, the Jeriko. It's, I try to keep things scriptural, and of course, my parents named me after the biblical hero Joshua, and, he went through some tough times and he fought some great wars. And, that one war was Jeriko. And how the walls fell. So I'm happy to be here. Happy to have my good friend Judah with me, and we're gonna get right into it. Judah, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I met Judah at a young adults event, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And
Playing dodgeball.
Playing dodgeball. That's what it was. And that's crazy because me being the guy that I am, I'm more introverted. I kind of like to keep to myself and hang out, and I'll play sports if they're playing. But I looked at this guy. We were playing dodgeball, and this guy's like crouching, like getting ready to throw a ball, and he's looking at me. I'm like, "What are you looking at, weirdo?" And then he's like, "Nice to meet." Hey, he's like, "Hey, I'm Judah. What's your name? Nice to meet you." And I'm like, wow, this guy's a nice guy. As soon as I heard him speak to me, I knew this guy was going to be a nice guy. So I said, "I'm Josh. Nice to meet you." And then we clicked like that. Would you agree? It was pretty crazy.
Well, I figured I might as well introduce myself before I get competitive and rip your head off first. Anyone who knows me knows how competitive I am. So
exactly. So that was about 2 years ago, I'd say.
Oh, boy.
Maybe 3.
2021 sometime, I think. So a couple years.
Because that was young adults, and I didn't start going to young adults until after COVID hit.
Right.
So, but even saying that word, we're gonna get fact checked. But whatever. We've done that before. So, man, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate you. You're a really good friend, and you amaze me every time I speak to you because you just carry the conversation into places that I surely wouldn't be able to do that. So. But thanks for coming on, man.
No, thanks for having me.
My audience knows that I'm into hip-hop and that I'm a writer. I am working on some stuff, so stay tuned. Why don't you introduce yourself to the people, man? Tell everybody what you're about.
Yeah, of course. So my name's Judah Wardrobe, for anyone who y'all don't know me. As you can see by the looks of my mullet, stash, and ball cap, I do like hip hop a lot. Actually, let me say that I have so much respect for what you guys do.
It's true. He does.
Like,
he does.
So many people are like, "Oh, they're just like doing mumbling." I'm like, "No, man, that's some serious skill these guys got going on." So I respect that a lot. But no, I'm an up and coming country artist here in Saskatchewan. Just kind of doing the small kind of shows and circuits kind of deal right now, and just figuring things out. And but yeah, no, it's been fun to just kind of get things going, and yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It just seems like we were talking about actually on the way over here, how it's like, man, one minute you're just sitting around just dreaming, and the next minute you're up playing, and it's just like, it's crazy, man. But it's been really fun.
For sure. Thanks for coming on. So, it's true, you are up and coming in Saskatoon. You've been, for like the last month, you've been doing how many performances and appearances?
Oh, man. Honestly, I couldn't probably count them off the top of my head right now. I've been playing at the Capitol. If you're not from Saskatoon, you might not heard of these places, but I've been playing at the Capitol Club, the Black Rose, played at the Saskatoon Glow Festival, which is a thing that festival goes through all December. I was playing that a lot.
Glow was awesome.
There was one more I'm trying to. Oh yeah, I've been playing Warman. Gonna be there again tomorrow. Was there last week, which is a town outside of the city here. So yeah, man, it's been busy, slightly stressful, but it's been really fun, man. Things are really small now, still just getting started. But dude, it's been really fun to actually. It just seems like yesterday. I was just 12-year-old kid in my basement back home where I grew up, just dreaming about playing on a stage, and it's like I said, even things are small right now, it's like to be actually living the dream that you've been dreaming. You know, I know you could probably relate since you're a kid. It's pretty awesome, and feel super blessed to be able to be actually living it now, you know.
Absolutely, man. Judah, how old are you?
I am 22 years old.
22. Look at that. That is incredible.
23 in July.
23 in July.
Yes, sir.
That is incredible at how quickly I think you've really excelled in starting to do shows across town, and you know, man, I'm excited for your future, man. I really am excited, because there's you have a lot of potential, and you can really do well. I know you'll do well, because you're a very talented guy, and I'm excited for what your future holds for you.
Thanks, man. I mean, you too. I mean, I know maybe some people haven't heard of it. I've been fortunate enough to hear this guy, just being buddies with him, and man, you guys better stay tuned. Like, this, it's gonna be awesome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Seriously.
it. Thank you. Why don't we talk about your music?
Sure.
You have one on the way.
Yep, I do. First single is in the barrel right now, I guess you could say. I cut my vocals and my guitar last week. It's in the production stage right now. My producer, the guy who's producing me, is working on it. So I haven't given a date yet for when it's going to be out, because we were hoping to have it sooner, but we had to do some re-recording. So if you guys follow me at J Wardrobe Music, you'll be able to follow along with updates for when the actual date will be.
Link in the bio.
Yeah.
Link in the bio. Is there a name for the song yet, or is that
classified? No, I'm all about that, man.
For
I've been
sure.
talking about it at my shows. I've been playing it like crazy, just trying to get it out. So first single is going to be called Lost in the Wind.
Lost in the
It's
Wind.
a song I actually wrote. So I've been kind of on the road, kind of living and working different places the
Tell us
last
about it.
2 years. Yeah. So I've been kind of, I grew up in a small town, Carlisle, Saskatchewan. It's like 5 hours south of where we are in Saskatoon. Just in a small town, small farm town out in the middle of nowhere, basically. But after high school, kind of got into ranching, working cattle, horses, all this kind of thing, and bounced around between Alberta and BC, just working, just trying to make money, and then also had this dream also that I still had, just like I have since I was a kid. But basically, it's like this song, the first single, Lost in the Wind, I actually wrote when I first moved to town here originally a couple years back, when we actually would have met. It would have been around that time. So I wrote the song about 2 years ago, and the song basically, if I were to describe it, I guess it was kind of, thinking about how everyone has moments in life where they just feel like lost wherever they are, in a sense, you know what I mean? And for those of you who know me, man, I'm like everyone, I mean, it's easy to think, I think especially in the music or whatever industry, it's like people look at you on stage and, oh, you're so talented, this and that, but like, man, like, we're just like anyone else, where it's like we still have our times where, man, we're not perfect, like, unfortunately never will be, as much as the perfectionist in us would like to think so.
Of course.
But man, I was just working on this little riff one day and started making some words around it, and it's basically a bit of my story, just being real with people. And like, I've been places, done things that, I wish I didn't, but like at the end of the day, it's like, if you put the work in to find yourself, I don't care what you've been through, whether it's addiction, whether it's mental health, whether it's whatever you think you're done, that you're too far gone, like it ain't the truth. That's a lie. Because it's like,
get closer.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I'm a little
no, you're good.
there. But continue, please.
But yeah, basically, a song I wanted to write that it's a bit of my story, so I related to it. But I wanted to write it in a way that people who feel like they've gone through, or they maybe still are going through and feel lost in a situation, that they can relate to and be like, okay, today has been a rough day, or this week or this month or even this year or whatever has been a rough time, but man, maybe this guy seems to be making through it. Not that I'm perfect, because like I said, I'm not, but like, if he can do it, maybe I can do it too. Because whether it's you for hip-hop or me for country music, I know, man, I'm so thankful for the artists that I look up to, where it's like, man, like, they released a song that just made me feel like, oh man, I'm struggling right now, but maybe if this guy can do it, maybe I can too. And just to be an inspiration, because that's all I really want to do with music, man, is just whether I can write an upbeat song that can make people feel joy and have a good time, or a slower song that maybe I'm being real with you, but it's like inspiration. It's like sharing testimony in a sense of the word, man.
Absolutely.
Like, just
Absolutely.
like, yeah, maybe I struggled or I did this and that, but like, don't give up on yourself, man.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you're playing, you're still in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You might be up, you might be down, but as long as you're staying, as long as you're playing, you're still in the game.
Of course, man. Of course. That's really beautiful. Tell us a little bit about who you grew up on in regards to music wise, because you mentioned that
I'm all over the map, dude.
You're a huge fan of hip hop.
I am, dude.
You're a country artist.
Yeah.
And if I recall correctly, you're also a Timberlake fan.
Yeah, I know, and it's kind of crazy because unless you grew up with me, you wouldn't really know that part. But yeah, so obviously country music. Like, I moved to Saskatchewan when I was 8, 9 years old. You know, my mom's a horse girl, like whatever, have some my cousin has a farm. So like I got, you know, listen to country music since I was like little. But then also grew up on a lot of like alternative rock. Like my dad is a huge U2 fan, so he passed that down to me. They were my first concert, actually, fun fact.
Nice. They've been to Saskatoon, haven't they?
I'm not sure. Maybe way back in the day. I saw them in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
When I was like little.
Right.
But then, yeah, I grew up on pop music. Like you said, I went through a phase in high school where it's like I said, small town kid, did all the small town things. But like, you know, everyone goes through phases. And man, I loved me some Justin Timberlake. Saw him in concert, and I just love the beats, man. Like, even as a country artist now, I still, like I said, whether it's hip hop or pop music, I have so much respect for like the way they can come up with a beat that's just so catchy. It's like to try and incorporate those into your hooks. Like, even as a country artist, man, like to try and incorporate those catchy hooks. You know what I mean? And then hip hop too, man. Like,
huge element for hip hop there.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, I know you and I both, like, even like I said, country. Like, I love NF, dude. Like, some of the stuff he can do is just awesome and cool. And you know, as a teenager too, just, you know, all kinds of stuff, like all kinds of rap and hip hop and country. I'd say country music and rock have been the two things that have always been big throughout my entire life. But then there's been phases where, you know, I was super into pop for a couple years in high school, and then, you know, hip hop, and I still listen to everything, you know, and obviously, you know, as a Christian, listen to lots of worship and that kind of thing too. So that definitely has, I think, an impact and seeps its way in there. But rock and country have always been the things I've always had. But then all those other things, I still listen to a bit of everything too, because if you just listen to one thing, you'll just sound like someone that's already been out. And if you were meant to be that artist, you'd beat them. You know what I mean? Right. But we're meant to be our own artists. So it's like, if you listen to a bit of everything, it all kind of seeps into your God-given voice and talent too. And then it's just like, that's what makes you, you know?
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're in 2024 now.
We are.
And there was a lot of music that came out in 2023.
Yeah.
And one of them, who I grew to be a fan of recently, is Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll, yeah.
Did you hear Wits at Chapel?
Was that the one you played for me the one time we were hanging out in the car?
I think that might have been it.
Yeah.
It was.
Dude, it was like. Yeah. I kind of did, actually. It's kind of interesting because with Jelly Roll, like, I've kind of spent a lot of time on the fence, honestly. Like, at first I was like, not sure.
He did start out as a rapper, I think it was.
But like, honestly, dude, it's like, besides his music, like, I wouldn't say he's like in my top 5 or anything, but like, I actually, funny enough, was watching a video on Instagram the other day where he apparently was in court testifying up against some drug.
Yeah.
And he shared his testimony basically about how, like, this is why you should not let this thing pass. Like, I was the problem. He even said it. Like, he was an addict. He was selling drugs for a while. But now he's like kind of got his life back on track, and he was like judging. He gave the judge so many reasons of why, like, don't do this, don't let this. And it's just like, my respect just like went up definitely a few ticks. It's like, that's what it is, man. Like, even as like a quote secular artist, if you can still use your light to shine for good, and like man, like that's what it's all about.
Of course,
you know.
Of course. So there was I actually did see a small portion of him in court. I saw it on Instagram and I saved it. I meant to watch the whole thing, but I forgot about it.
Right.
There was something a few months ago that I saw that I've spoken about it on the pod on the last season, but there was a video of him talking about Jesus and the church. I don't know if you saw that.
I might have saw, like, I think I saw a clip of that. It is ringing a bell.
Yeah. There was, he was talking about how Jesus and the church is gonna die because he and then he explained he gave a bunch of reasons.
Yeah.
One of them I think was because we keep portraying him how we keep portraying him, but and from my standpoint, I recently started. I found him in the summer. It was I think it was in May, and listening to his album, it was a pretty powerful album, and so I assumed that I assumed, you know, I don't know if it's wrongfully or rightfully. I don't really know yet if it's.
Right.
I assumed he was a Christian.
Right.
And so I assumed that his viewpoint was, we need to go back to the old way of doing Christianity, the correct way, not where it's today, where it's we modify Christianity to what you believe or what you want or what you like, and making you feel good about yourself.
Right.
And it's going back to the original way. But then I saw a video of Ruslan. He's like, his channel's like the news network for hip hop and just general pop culture and stuff like that. But he's more hip hop centered.
Right.
And then he said that was a no. So it's
Say what was a no?
It was what Jelly Roll did is because how did he say it? It was more of like, you can't say Jesus is gonna die again. Right, because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
And that's what I kind of thought when I first heard him say it. I was like,
yeah.
Because here's the thing, though. I think I've heard him talk about like he is a. I think like I don't know. Obviously, I don't know Jelly Roll, so I couldn't actually tell you what I think. And honestly, at the end of the day, even if I did know him, only him and God.
Yeah, exactly.
His heart is, right. But I think like when I first heard that same clip, I was like, maybe not. But you know what? It's like I've seen so many videos where it be in court or him going to prison and helping people out, and it's like, or I saw he donated like just so many toys to the toy drive for Christmas, and it's like,
he seems like a really good guy.
He does, and it's like, so it's like, okay, maybe could he have worded? Because here's the thing: if I'm gonna sit here and say that, obviously I know, like I said, Christian believer in Christ, but it's like, if I'm gonna sit here and act like I've never said things that I didn't mean to sound that way, or sometimes I have said things of just straight being not smart. You know what I mean? So it's like, on one hand, I'm like, okay, I didn't really, the way, I kind of get what he was saying, like you were talking there. I think he could have worded differently, because like you said, when I first heard Jesus, the church is going to die again, I'm like, didn't love the way he worded it, because it's like, honestly, as long as the earth's still here, like, God's, like, he's here, right? Same yesterday, today, and forever.
Of course.
But at the same time, it's like, I've seen just so much about him, like, doing awesome stuff, and it's like, you know what? Who's to say he may want to word it differently? I don't know. Because like I said, I don't know the guy. But like I said, his music, not top 5 or 10, but like I respect him, and especially in the sense like I've seen him since that clip you originally talked about. I've seen so much awesome stuff he's been doing that I'm like, you know what? Like I said, who am I to judge? Because there's a lot of things I could be judged for that I don't want to be judged for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's... One of my issues is, I will admit, I listen to quite a bit of secular hip hop. It's some of it's okay, some of it I should not be listening to. But you know, I'm always paying attention to what everybody's doing. Right. I know that's not a very good trait to have, but I'm always
like
paying
watching
attention.
The news kind of.
Yeah, it's like I know everything about what's going on. Well, most, I won't say everything, but I know quite a bit of what's going on, especially with the artists that I listen to. And so when I can get obsessive. I can get over obsessive, especially with, you know, artists like NF and those kind of guys. But when I see artists, say for example Kanye, who in 2019 did Jesus is King, right, and came out as Christian, I was so excited, man. I was too excited because you know, he came to Christianity, right, or he made it seem that way. And then listening to Jelly Roll, you know, I didn't really know what he was about, and then I started listening to Wits at Chapel, and then, you know, wrongly assumed, or rightly, I don't know, assumed that he was a Christian. And then, you know, him saying the stuff about Christianity, I jumped on the wagon immediately. Like, he's He's preaching the truth.
Another one.
Another
It's
one.
Cali,
Yeah, another one. Congratulations. I played myself. Yeah, it's I didn't pay close enough attention
Right.
to what was really, really going on, and I tend to do that a lot. So, that's why I watch Ruslan, because he takes a very unbiased approach, and he always takes it to scripture. And then once he was saying the things he said, I can't remember what he said, but then once he said it, I realized, yeah, he probably shouldn't have said that, but if he was going to, like you said, say it a different way.
Right.
So, but we pray for him, right? We pray that he fully comes to Christ, and that he accepts Christ as his Lord and Savior. And not, it's cliche, but not everybody's perfect.
Exactly.
People make mistakes. Yeah. So,
well, like I said too, it's like at the end of the day, only him and God truly know like what he could be already, or he might not be. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like it's hard to tell for sure, right? Like, because I'm sure like you and I both know we're believers, but I'm sure like people could find something somewhere that you and I have done or said that we shouldn't have done or said, and then they could be like, I wonder if you know what I mean. So it's like another thing I want to quickly ask you too, while we're on the Jelly Roll topic. There's also, what's that song that blew up? It was on the radio. It's like he played at the CMAs or whatever. Need a favor. I only talk to God when I need a favor. That's the song that I really. Because when I was working at the ranch, I was working at the outfit, I was working at the summer. That song would always play on the radio, and I always thought like, what are you like? I only talk to God when I need a favor. What does that lyric? Because for me, I feel like, okay, that's great. He's going to God, but at the same time, it's like.
But what? Yeah, exactly. It's like what side? Right.
Because I think of an NF song, my favorite NF song. Oh Lord.
Exactly.
It's like, what's the line? It's like, we start praying when we're crying and when we're dying in bed, but then I'll call you God later when I need you again. Yeah. Again, not to say to be here to judge Jelly Roll. Like I said, I don't know the guy. He seems really good, and again, it's like, whatever. I'm not. Yeah. He could be a great guy, but I'm just curious what your thoughts on that line is, because it's a line that I've actually pondered a lot in my brain whenever I've heard that song. Well, it's been really popular.
Quick comment about NF, and then I'll answer your question. Yeah. It's crazy you brought that up, because. On his last album, he had that song Happy, right? And then he starts out with, Dear God, please hear me out. I know it's been a while since I've reached out, right? And so, but then if you go back all the way back 8 years ago to 2015, because I know every single lyric this guy's ever written. Right. He had a song with Toby Mac, and he says, God is not a crutch. I think he said you can't use him when you wanna, or you can use him when you wanna. I don't know the exact lyric, but then he says you only look to heaven when you're going through some drama. And so that need a favor bar, it really makes me wonder, because if you take the two artists, NF is a Christian who wrote that bar, and so he could be writing it from the sinful perspective, right, of him. Maybe.
Are you talking about Jelly Roll now, or
NF? NF, but I'm circling back to Jelly Roll.
Okay.
So if he says, God is not a crutch, you can use him when you wanna. So it's like, he's essentially saying what Jelly Roll's saying. You only go to God when you need a favor, right? And so what I'm saying is, if he's a Christian writing that bar, then, like a lot of us, he could be doing something wrong with his faith. Does that make sense? I'm trying to portray it in a way.
Here's the thing: Jelly Roll could very well be, but he might be writing that because he's been very open about he has a very not good past. Again, not judging. I could say the same thing, but he's been very vocal about that. So it could be that you're right. I actually never thought of it that way. That is genius, because he very well could be. He's just writing it from when he wasn't, because there are people out there who need that line to relate to be because here's the thing, once you're walking hand in hand, side by side with God, it's you want it, that relationship. That's the biggest thing God wants, but it's someone that might be the thing that gets you going on that road is just being okay, God, I am so messed up, I need a favor, can you forgive me, can you and honestly, I became a Christian about 4 or 5 years ago now. I still, as a believer, I can tell you, I still have those moments where I'm like, God, messed up, like
Yeah.
daily almost sometimes.
Same.
Like it's just,
Mhm.
and that's the whole point of why we need God. I remember actually, dude, one time I was out with some friends, and some guy he had a drink or whatever, you know, he's a bit gone, and he
Yeah.
he saw the cross. I was like my necklace I was wearing on my neck, and he's like, "Oh, are you religious?" I'm like, "If you're asking if I believe in God, yeah." And he's like, "Oh, like I told him, like, yeah, like I believe in God," and he's like, "Oh, it's not for me or whatever." Said something about him being too messed up or something like that, something along those lines, and I leaned over and I said, "Me too. That's why I need him." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like,
For sure.
it's hard to say for sure, but it's like I really like the point you made, because I never really thought of that until you worded it that way.
Yeah. I need to work on how I word things better, but it's.
But no, it's good though. Like it was thought provoking. It made me think like, oh yeah,
For
you know
sure.
what I mean?
And then there's also the other perspective of, if he's not a Christian, then the line speaks for itself. You
Exactly.
only go to God when you need a favor, which I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if there's a loved one in the hospital, then they go to the chapel and pray or something like that. So I still think, even though we don't know exactly what it could be, on either side,
There's possibilities for both. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's eye-opening for either side, because if he is a Christian, then he's identifying the problem.
Yeah, which is important,
of course. And if he's not, then it's showing self-awareness, at least.
Right.
That he's going through issues and
right.
needs more than himself to get through it.
Do you know what something I was thinking too is, it's like because we're talking about like, is he, isn't he, like both sides of the coin. It's like oh frick, where was I going with
I had no idea it was going to go this direction.
Yeah, right. This is
it's just flowing. I love it.
The Jelly Roll podcast.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Jelly Roll, come on the show.
Right? Yeah. Next week, we wish.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something. I was thinking about how we were talking about, what were we talking about? Both sides of the coin. Anyways,
different perspectives.
Different perspectives.
Yeah.
I lost it. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
That's all right.
It flew out of my brain.
Where do we go from here? Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you. So you mentioned earlier on the episode that you've done a lot of moving around, a lot of traveling and stuff like that. So how about you start maybe where you were born, and then where you kind of segued off, and how long of a journey that was.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So
it still is.
So like I said, grew up Saskatchewan like 90% of my life. Like I've always had prairie kid. Like, but fun fact, I was actually born in BC, British Columbia. That's where I was born. Maple Ridge is the name of it's kind of like, I mean, I've also lived in Medicine Hat. I'll get to that, but it's like, if you've been to Medicine Hat, you'll know Medicine Hat's technically a city, but it feels like a town. Like it's not like a Vancouver or Calgary. So Maple Ridge is kind of like, it's a city, but it's like way smaller. Lots of people know people. There's also agriculture there, but it's more like dairy farming outside the city and stuff like that. So I was born there, grew up there, first like 8 years of my life, like a big family, all the deal, like grandparents, awesome. Yeah. So then we ended up moving to Saskatchewan for my dad's job when I was 8. Actually, so we moved when I was 8. I woke up first day of my new house on my 9th birthday, which is kind of nice, kind of weird. But so yeah, then grew up in Carlisle. It's about how much? About 14 hours, like 1,400 give or take, because it's besides farming, it's also a lot of oil is a big industry there. So depending on if oil's up or down, you know, people move in, people move out. Because my dad, he's a teacher actually, so it's like there was a huge, back in 2010, huge, massive oil boom. So like we got so many people moving in, like, so need teaching jobs. I think that's kind of how it went down. Like, they don't quote me on it. I don't know if my dad's gonna see this, but that's kind of the idea of what happened. So grew up there. I was a town kid. You know, we lived in town, right on the edge, like my house, and then it's like out of town. So right on the edge, like grew up small town kid, like I said. And then after high school, I graduated. That's when I went to this place called the Broken Arrow Youth Ranch. And because I was at a point in my life where we had gone through some hard things as a family, and like, I'm super blessed, love my family, but like you said, everyone has storms in life. You know what I mean? Everyone has hard things they go through. So the Broken Arrow Youth Ranch is a place where it's a cattle ranch out in the middle of nowhere, western Saskatchewan, an hour south of Assiniboia. But they're a Christian faith-based ranch, and they use Christianity and like God as like the main tool to like help kids. So like they don't call themselves a rehab because they deal with all things, whether it's mental health, like all this kind of stuff, right?
Right.
And that's where I gave my life to Christ. Actually, was at that
Okay, wow.
at the ranch there. I graduated the program in 2021, which is when I moved to Saskatoon. That's where we met and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Lived in Saskatoon and then ended up going to Alberta and BC, like I said, working, and then wound up here, and here we are going with the music stuff. So sorry, that was a bit long, but that's just kind of like the short kind of snapshot of what could be a really long story.
Okay.
But
so I had a question, and now it's gone.
Right. It's not fun when that happens.
I know it really sucks.
I was thinking of it, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna say, and then I'm like, oh.
It really sucks.
Because now I remember what I was gonna say, but we're way past the topic.
Yeah.
But.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you about a performance. So we went about a month ago, and we went to the Capitol. Yep. And I watched you perform.
Yeah.
Fantastic job.
Thanks.
Wasn't perfect.
Yeah. No,
you did really well.
The first song was great. The second song, I crapped the bed. And then the third song, I kind of came back.
Yeah,
so
you did.
That was the general song.
It mellowed out.
Particular one.
But you did pretty well, and I was really impressed. You had people dancing in the front. I saw that. That was.
People had their phones out.
I know. Yeah, it's like they were at a concert.
This one girl came up and was like talking to me in between songs. I'm like trying to ignore her, and I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Some people are interesting. Yeah. Or probably drank too much.
Probably.
But
yeah.
So, how long have you been performing?
Oh boy, so like I said, this is the first time I've been doing it like constantly, like going full out, you know what I mean? But I've been playing on and off like little open mics things since I was a kid. Like I think I learned guitar when I was, I want to say 11, 12, give or take.
Okay.
At like some music camp it's called the Knossi Lake Kitchen Party. Look it up if you're looking to start. It's a great place to start. They have really like world-class like musicians they get coming in there. So I was really blessed and fortunate to learn from some really awesome musicians. So that was the first time I picked up guitar and played my first little like guitar performance with my guitar class. But then just got a passion for it, man, and I practice in my basement. And once in a while, when I get the courage, I'd go play a little like venue, like this typical, like if you picture in your brain like small town in the middle of nowhere, a little play, like that's basically the place where I would play. A little open mic.
Yeah.
So played every once in a while. I was in a couple garage bands that never worked out and played here and there, but then so I played a little bit throughout my high school and school years, but this is the first time I've really gone full out. I'm playing full time and we're going for it kind of thing. So.
That's good for you, man. I'm really happy for you.
Thanks, man.
It's not easy doing that at all.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, it's you gotta really love it to like push through, because we were talking about it on the way over here actually. It's like anything you do in life, it's like there's gonna be good times and hard times, and it's like that's how you really find how bad you want it. When you have those times, you're like, oh, that was not it, but I'm gonna push through.
One thing we said was, I think every artist has that moment where they quit.
Multiple.
Yeah, but then they end up coming back because they truly love what they do. So I know I've done that a few times during my writing process, and I might have a couple more in my future.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. But it's if you love what you're doing, and if it was God's will for you to do what you were doing, you're gonna make it.
Exactly.
You're gonna make it.
We're too small to mess up God's plan. As much as we sometimes think we can mess it up.
Exactly.
I mean, we often don't do the right thing, hence why we need him, but it's like, he just wants to do life with us. That's the biggest thing. He wants that relationship. You know what I mean? So.
For sure. If you have any questions, you can ask me as well.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to ask you, what would you say your best performance was, or your most memorable? And if they're the same thing, then just talk about that. But if you have a best performance, do you think, what would that be?
Well, I'd say, here's the thing. I can say my best song probably was The Night You Came, that first song I did.
Okay.
That was awesome because like people were like, one of the guys I work with, he part of kind of my management team, he talks to me about sucking the air out of the room. That's where like a lot of these places you play when you're first starting out, people don't know who you are. They're not really paying attention, you know what I mean? But when you can like make them notice, and all of a sudden you hear up on stage no one's talking. It's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And then next time you hear a few claps, and like you said, people were like dancing and like they take their foot. It's like, okay, people are liking this, you know. So that was a cool moment for me, just to be like, okay, I can connect with people. Like I can do this. Like, thank you, Lord. Like let's keep doing this. There was also, honestly, dude, the place I'm playing in Warman, that's my favorite place to play.
What's that place called again?
It's called the Cork and Kettle. It's a little like pub in Warman. They got really good wings. They have a open mic on Thursday nights. And dude, I played there last week and it was so much fun, dude. Cause like I did pretty good. Like didn't have any like major mess ups or anything. And like the crowd is just like, it's full, dude. Like people are there to eat, hang out, and have a good time. Like the crowd was super receptive in between songs, like cheering and clapping and
awesome.
Yes, I'd say that would be so far in the small. Oh, and also getting to play Glow, like that's pretty cool. Like to say I got to close the Saskatoon Glow Festival on the one night. Like I play there multiple times, but that's like that's something you can like put on the resume, the music resume kind of stuff. Yeah, I've been really blessed with some really awesome opportunities. So
awesome, man. I still have not gone to Glow.
I
want
this year,
to.
man, this coming year.
I know. I checked in December, and it was the last day they were operating, and I checked, and we were headed out of town. We couldn't make it, so that was a bummer. But I'll have to catch it next time.
You bet.
I'm just gonna segue into a side note here. We have an official merch store that has been launched. The URL is alibimerch.creator-spring.com. I am working on getting a domain for that URL to make it smaller for just alibimerch.com, but it will be in the bio if you cannot find it. And if you have any trouble finding that, hit me up. I will send you a direct link to the store. We have a few hoodies, a few t-shirts. We got an Alibi toque, a sticker.
They're really cool.
They're pretty cool.
I saw them.
I'm pretty proud of them. We have the official Jeriko merch. I'm not wearing it right now. I do not have any. I will have some soon. I think the Jeriko merch looks pretty cool. Yeah, if you have any questions about that, let me know. Who are your hip-hop influences?
My hip-hop
I know you're not a hip-hop artist, but when you listen to hip-hop, who do you normally go to?
Like I said, NF is like top of the list for me. I know we've also talked about this, like not as much the old Slim Shady stuff. Yeah. But honestly, dude, like does Eminem probably use a few more bombs than he needs to? Yeah. Of course. But here's the thing. Since that Recovery album where he talked about how he OD'd and then like he realized like, man, I'm a dad. I got to get myself together. Like I said, bit profanity laced, but the message of his songs now, that's what dude, I remember actually being in high school and I had such bad test anxiety, like just unbelievable. I get so stressed out before doing a test, dude. But I remember being in my dad's truck, my mom driving me to school to do my finals in grade 10, just listening to Not Afraid by Eminem, because I'm like, I'm not afraid. Take the step. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. It's like me and my AirPods, and Eminem has no idea who I am, but it's like I feel like, let's go, Slim. We're gonna go. I'm gonna crush my math final. Meanwhile, I passed with the 50 on the nose, and it's just like, but man, like Not Afraid, or like even his song Walk on Water that he did, that was I really liked that, because it's like
that's got the Beyonce feature.
Yeah, right? And he's talking about like how it's like, and it's Beyonce's line, she says, but it's like, I walk on water, but I ain't no Jesus. I walk on water only when it freezes. And for me, it's like that line, it's just so genius, where it's like, I mean, everyone knows, whether you like him or not, you cannot deny that. You can't. Man is a lyrical genius.
Sorry,
guys. Sorry, not sorry. We said it, we meant it.
Yeah. Here we go.
But it's like, that line, it's like, I think, and like you said, it's like, I think he's gotten to a point where and every art, and you realize it's like, okay, like, I think it's easy for people to put, whether it's artists or movie stars, like, up here, but it's like, he's literally saying he's human. Which, if you can't get behind that message, I don't know what you can. Or he's human. He's saying that, and that's what the song is about. He's talking about why are expectations so high, and I mean, it's kind of the bar he set, and go listen to it. It's a great song. But it's like, I just like a lot of that kind of like, okay, like I said, not perfect, like all of us, not perfect, but the messages are something that I get. So honestly, probably those two guys are my go-tos. But then, like, I don't know, man, like I'm trying to think of other guys off the top of my head. Like I said, like I listened to much more hip hop when I was in high school, like before I was doing like taking the whole Christian thing super seriously. So like I listened to like all kind, whether it was Jay-Z or 50 Cent, and same as you. Like, would I be lying if I said I don't ever pop that on the phone once in a while? Yeah, I would be. So it's like once in a while, yeah. But it's like,
of course.
But just the beats too. The thing I respect the most about hip hop is like not only the way that you guys can flow, but the beats, dude. The hooks you guys can come up with are just like, I'm sitting here like, yeah, maybe you can tell a really good story in a country song, but like, oh, your guys' hooks are unreal sometimes, dude.
Yeah, it's and you know, hip hop, it just had its 50th birthday. I think it was last year.
Wow.
Or it was this year, or no, 2022 I think it was, or it was 2023, I can't remember. But to see both ways on how far it's come and how far it's fallen.
Right.
Because
dude, we could say the same thing over on this side of the table too.
Yeah, like, it's beautiful and shameful at the same time, because you've had so many talented artists that have come out of hip hop that are truly doing their best work and are in their prime and making good music that everyone can listen to. But then you got the artists that are just degenerates and are more focused on exposing their body and doing disgusting things over Instagram or in their videos, really than the lyrical portion of the music where the real talent is.
Right.
And it's a real shame. And I was talking to my dad the other day, and we were listening to KRS-One, who's one of the OGs of hip hop. I'm not sure if you know who that is.
I don't think so.
He's one of it's all right. He's one of the first artists. He was involved in the bridge beef between the east side and the east side, and I think it was
west.
I'm gonna get so much hate now because I can't remember what side of New York it was. It was I think it was the Bronx.
The Bronx sounds about right. I think
Bronx.
The Bronx is pretty shady.
I know the song was called The Bridge.
The Bridge.
And then the response was The Bridge is Over. And it was The Bridge is Over, I think that was that KRS-One was on, and he just did a song called 50 More Years of Hip Hop. And it's really good.
Nice.
The hook, the piano almost reminded me of Eminem in 02, or when the Eminem show came out.
Okay.
It's got like that kind of low tune kind of, and then it hits you with the big keys in the middle.
It's like Till I Collapse kind of.
Yeah, it was almost like that. And you know, his voice
That's a banger of a song.
Yeah, it is. Till I Collapse is one of the greatest songs ever created, I think, arguably.
That hypes me up. Workout.
Every single
iron. You'll see this country boy repping that.
There you go.
Just like Till I Collapse, man.
There you go. And you know, it's like, well, I want to talk about that too, but like, it's KRS. His name is Chris. So KRS Chris, and then one. I don't know why one, but fine. Right. He is truly a pioneer of hip hop. Yeah. And you know, he's especially with there's a guy in the Christian space whose name is T-Bone, and he's recently retired now. He had a podcast called The House Arrest Show, which I watched all of.
Right.
And back in the day, he had a song with KRS-One, and I believe it was called Gospel Alpha Mega Funky Boogie Disco Music.
Wow.
Yeah. And
even your guys' album titles flow, dude. Like,
that was the album title, and that was the song name. And so it's the way I'm going somewhere with this, trust me. The way KRS-One really proclaimed Christ in that song was like truly incredible. And so it always, whenever I hear, this is where I'm going, it's like whenever I hear an artist who is like, say, hardcore mainstream or is very secular and cusses up and down, all the way up and down, but it's like, even if they're that way, every once in a while you can still find a very self-reflective verse, right? Especially like from artists. Eminem recently, he was on, or not recently, but the other year he was on DJ Khaled's album God Did, or I don't think it was God Did, but he was on the song God Did, and it was a remix of Kanye's Use This Gospel. and the verse is Christian, and it's better than most of what these artists are putting out. And it's like he says he puts his trust and faith in you, Father, in God, and he says praises to Jesus. He says praises to Jesus. So I'm a little iffy on that one.
He's getting there.
He's getting there.
He's come a long ways from where he was.
He
He
almost did it right, but you know, who are we to judge? But it's really eye-opening, and it really gets you thinking when you hear these verses that are looking for something more, searching for something that they don't that they don't have.
Right.
So whether it be Christianity or whether it be freedom or relief, from whatever they're going through. So
interesting.
It's M hasn't dropped an album in 4 years. So
come on, man, I'm ready.
I'm ready too.
I'm ready to feel like I'm 14 years old listening to Lose Yourself. Like,
I know, man.
It just came out when it had already been out for like 8 years.
Did you listen to MTB Music to Be
Murdered By?
Yeah.
His last
Yeah,
album?
I was avoiding the murdered word because of YouTube, but that's
oh,
okay.
My bad.
It's whatever. We're not making money anyway. So. So, did you listen to that album?
I did. When it first came out, I would listen to it, yeah. I haven't listened to it, like, in a long time. That wasn't my favorite. I mean, there's the one song where it's, like just crazy. Like, I'm not even going to try. Like, it's, like, was it Godzilla?
Godzilla.
Dude, that was, wow. Just knock your boots off, as we would say.
Yeah.
Anyway. But, like, knock your socks off, man. That was wild.
I used to be able to do that verse.
Well, he's going to... This is what he's... No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to surprise you guys. 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks, yeah. Hey, whenever the next episode, maybe I'll do it, depending on who the guest is. But yeah, you know, it was, you know, obviously I grew up hearing how Eminem was the greatest, right, and how he was such a popular artist, and before I even heard him, oh yeah, Eminem's the greatest. Nobody can say nothing about it. And then once I actually, Music to Be Murdered By was probably the second album that I actually sat down and really listened to, and honestly, I wasn't that impressed. Yeah. I liked Kamikaze, but Kamikaze was good because... Be
careful, we're going to be on the next diss
I
track.
know.
We're not
no!
That's how you want to go viral.
I don't want to be dissed. I'm sorry.
That's how you want to go viral, man.
No!
Just
no, man. It's... M, you're a legend. No disrespect.
We have manners in the
country. And
no,
you know,
joking,
maybe I'll reword it.
Bro.
I'll say this. It was such a curveball.
Yeah.
Because when you hear it, there's someone getting whacked on the first track, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness. My soul was like, no, turn it off. Please turn it off. And so, but strangely enough, I quite like that track. Actually, it's quite good. Then there's the Godzilla song, of course, which is fantastic. And then he actually came out with another song with Juice. Just now, I think it was called "Lace It." Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it might have been a demo or something like that, but it was not bad. Right. But yeah, he had a couple of hits on that album, and so it was shocking to say the least. Right. Obviously, it lived up to the name. If you listen to it, you might die.
Right.
Yeah, M is. I think he's my number one.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, whether you like him or don't like him, it's like. Yeah. Like, what are you gonna do?
And I am not a stan. I did not grow up on Eminem. I haven't listened to a lot.
Well, I hope you're not a stan, because you'd be in the bottom of the list.
No,
right
yeah. It's crazy. There's quite a few records that I actually haven't touched. Mainly because old Slim Shady is...
Recovery is the best.
And then there is Recovery, which
so good.
I have to try. I love
Recovery. I actually own the CD of Recovery.
Really?
I don't know if I still do. I did at one point.
Okay,
I liked it that much, yeah.
I actually, when I was in Ottawa recently, I went to a music store because I had to get some CDs.
Right.
And I was looking for the hip-hop stuff, and there was buy one used item or album and get a second free. So I bought two. I bought The Great Depression by DMX,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got, what's the other one? I have it right here actually. Whoops. It's The Great Depression by DMX, and then there's Will Smith, Millennium.
No kidding.
And so I got Millennium by Will, and then the 2 free albums was Jesus is King by Kanye, and The Re-Up by Eminem.
Okay.
So that's like the huge cipher D12 album, I think,
Right.
which I'm starting to get into. I actually like it. It's pretty good.
You want to know a fun fact on the Eminem topic?
Yes.
Okay, if this goes crazy, I guess I'll expose myself one day when this guy starts blowing up. But so when I was, we were talking about like how I did like open mics once in the Blue Moon.
Yep.
When I was in high school. So
No.
I did, dude. I went through phases, right? Somewhere, I don't know where. Hopefully it's gone, but there is a video of me rapping "Love the Way You Lie" by Eminem with a friend of mine I went to school. She sang the Rihanna parts.
Really?
And we did it, dude.
Wow.
And I got through. I had one little part where I got off the beat, but dude, I did it.
3 years I've known this guy, and I kid you not, I have never heard that before.
You what it really. No, just kidding. I can only tell you what it feels like. No, I am not a rapper. That was awful. Don't.
That was actually pretty good.
No,
Your voice is pretty solid.
No.
It's better than mine.
That is a fact, though. I did.
I rapped crazy,
Love the Way You Lie by Eminem in front of like 60, 70 people maybe.
Really?
And I remember my mom told me after, she's sitting in the crowd, right? My mom was there. She's like, "Oh, this song has an F-bomb. What's he gonna say?"
I know.
And I said like friggin' or
or
something,
flippin' or something like that.
But my mom after she's like, "I didn't realize till you started going." I was like, oh, "What's he gonna say?" And I was just like, I just went with it. But.
That's fun. You saying that makes me think, because I'm kind of that way too. But it's like, because I listen to a lot of hip hop, like, and every day I'm always listening, and so I want to share my music, the stuff I listen to with my dad.
Yeah. Right.
And sometimes my mom.
Yeah.
My dad can handle more stuff than my mom can, but it's like,
isn't that mostly? It's because moms just they love. Not that dads don't love their kids, but moms just love you so much.
I know.
They don't want anything to just like.
They don't want to hear.
They don't want to think it's gonna remold you or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, when it's my dad, I play on some of my older underground stuff. But when it's my mom, I take somebody like Dax. He's more of on the Christian or Christianity side, and he'll swear in the music, but he'll do it when he's exposing the devil or something like that, or explaining eternity, or asking if God cries.
The way I think about swearing, it's like, you don't want to do it every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
If you stub and break your toe or something, like, God would rather God's not gonna like send you to hell because you dropped an F-bomb because you like broke your toe or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I was going somewhere.
Sorry, bro.
Oh yeah, no. It's fine. It's even if you cuss in your music, I've made the decision that I probably won't.
Right.
I've written a few pieces where I've let a cuss here and there, and it's with the audience that I might have, I don't think it's the right thing to do, but I still want to show people how talented I am. So I'll substitute that word with like a different flow or something that'll change. Right. That'll grab people and say this guy knows what he's doing. And so but cussing in your music does not make you a horrible artist. It's a way of expression.
Right. And one that actually leads you, can I ask you a question just kind of while we're also on the secular music or whatever?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like you said, we're both Christian guys, and I've thought about this, and it's like, I think the thing with secular music is like there is definitely a wrong way to do it. There's a lot of like not great, but I think there's also definitely a right people do it. And and here's the thing: if you're called to be a worship leader, then be a worship leader. But here's the thing: if you wonder why Hollywood might be so dark, don't you think because we're called to be lights, right? It's like maybe if we had more Christians who were just pop artists or just country, or just maybe it'd be a better place. You know what I mean? So I want to get your thoughts on this in a second. But for me, it's like I've often thought okay, I'm a Christian. God is first in my life. But as a country artist, and it's like the way I've thought of that, and I've prayed in this and thought about it, it's like, okay, like I said, I want to make upbeat songs can bring people joy, or slower songs and songs that can help people relate to something they're going through. And it's like I'm also lots of country guys, we sing about where we grew up and small town life, whatever. And it's like, but here's the thing, even if I'm not, there are some songs where I definitely will talk about something to do with God or whatever. I'm not afraid to do that. Like, I'll do it if I feel like that needs to be in the song.
Yeah.
But it's like, just because I might not talk about God in every single one of my songs, it's like, okay, but who created that lifestyle that I love to live? Of, you know, working off the land and working with animals. God created that. So it's, you know, and that's the way I kind of think of that with my particular, like, genre kind of thing. So I want to get your thoughts on, like, what your thoughts on that is, and, like, you know, secular, obviously there's a wrong way, but I think if God's called you to, like, be a light in this particular, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to kind of, because we've talked about it a few times, whether it be Jelly Roll or just secular in general, I want to get your kind of thoughts on that kind of idea. I'm
glad you brought that up, because I struggled with that for a long time. I was really confused. Because there's the Christian side of music, right? Where there's good artists, but the majority of them have fallen off, or they've lost their touch, or they've lost what made them good, and it's just dry Christian music. Right. But on the other hand, there's the secular world where the music is designed to be entertaining and designed to be gripping and have that right melody and have that right tune and that right hook in hip hop and some of these hardcore artists, they have some of the best music I've ever heard, man. It's unbelievable. Vinny Paz is an Italian artist who lives in the US, and he's actually a Muslim. And it's really it really gets me thinking, because he has some of the best melodies, dude, and production that I have ever heard. And so, to answer your question, it really got me thinking. And then one day, I saw a video from this guy who actually works at Elam, and he was I think he's a youth leader, and he was answering a question that a student had given him. Can I listen to secular music? And then he differentiated between secular music and sinful music, because like you mentioned, right, you have other stories to tell, right? I grew up mostly I had friends growing up, but then there was a time in my life where that rock of me being in friendships all the time got really shook. And so I really had to think a lot about, like, what was wrong with me, or what's going on, why don't I have friends, or something like this. And so I would put that into music, right? And so I don't think there's anything wrong with secular music at all. I think we need it in order to realize that people in the Christian hip-hop or just in the Christian space need to step up their game, because it's really not getting through to where we needed to get through, right? But then again, there's also the sinful side, like Vinny, who really shouldn't be, I really shouldn't be listening to. But
and it's like, and it goes back to, like, there are certainly people who are definitely called to be, whether it's like a job in the church, like a pastor, worship leader, whatever, you know what I mean? But then it's like, if everyone was called to just do nothing but jobs in the church, like, the world's dark, the world's brutal enough as it is already. Like, if we're not out there and being lights in other industries, it's like, you know. And here's the thing I've also kind of come to realize is that whether you're a worship leader, whether you're a country or hip-hop singer, whether you're a pastor, whether you're a fisherman, whether you're an accountant, a teacher, God just wants to live life with you. And it says in the Bible, He gives us the desires of our hearts, right? So it's like, you got to trust ultimately that if this thing that is not meant to be, the doors will close, right? Because God can open doors only He can open, He can close only doors He can close, right? So it's like, you know what? If He's called you to be hip-hop and a podcast guy, and He's called me to be a country singer, it's like, okay, like, He wants to do that with us, right? And it's like, there have been times where I've had to be like, okay, like, I recognize the challenges that come, because here's the thing, as a Christian guy, it's like, I'm a country artist, but, like, there's certain things, like, I don't want to just go out and, like party and just get whatever, like, you know, like most small town guys, I don't mind having, like, a drink or two, play some pool, hang out, but, like, I don't want to go out there and just, like, be doing a lot of this stuff that, you know, whether
we
it's
are
like,
in the world, but we are not of the world.
Exactly. So it's like, you know what? Like I said, I just want to bring joy to people, help them relate to stuff, and I am who I am. You know, just because you're a Christian doesn't mean it. You know, and here's the thing: if you can't have, say, one beer without getting completely gone, then maybe you shouldn't drink. And like, if I have friends where if I know they struggle with that, I won't have anything that night.
Right.
But for me, if I know I can have a couple and it's not going to lead me to do anything, then okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
it's all about the balance. And it's like, yeah, some people are called to be worship leaders or pastors. Some people are called to be something else for a job. Because at the end of the day, whether we're singers, whatever we're doing, it's just like, that's just our job. That's not who we are, because we're children of God. Whatever we do as believers, right?
Absolutely. One I was gonna. Oh yeah, back to the thing about music is when I was in Ottawa, I got a CD and it was DMX, The Great Depression, but I didn't open it for like a month because I bought the CDs because I like to download them into my car. And I you see that huge machine over there that holds 300 CDs at once. So
dude, that's wild.
No joke. There's like a huge.
I believe it.
There's a drum in there that just spins and you can hold them for days. So it's I'm growing my little collection over there. You can see it there. And
I collect CDs too. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. Cool. We're CD guys. We like that stuff.
Old farm trucks, they can only play CDs, man.
Yeah, for sure. And I didn't open the CD until about a month later. And it looked a bit different, and so I plugged it in, and it was Year of the Dog again. And I was like, okay, it's a DMX album. But one song on that album is called Lord Give Me a Sign. And it is one of the greatest prayers I have ever been, because he's a Christian, man. You can hear it in his voice. And it's like, not just from the song, but also like, when he passed, I don't know if you remember when he passed or if you followed that.
Was that a few years ago?
It was.
I remember seeing posts about it.
I
didn't really know much about him or who he was. I think I might have downloaded one of his songs just to get an idea of who this guy was. But I remember hearing about it.
Yeah, he's a dog when he's rapping. He's got that voice, right? But he's very hardcore. But one of the things I realized was when he passed, all these artists in the Christian space were paying so much respect to this guy. And then one of the guys, T-Bone, who is a pioneer in Christian hip-hop as well, he posted video after video after video of this guy with his prayers in his music, interviews, people praying for him.
This is DMX you're talking about?
DMX. Him praying over crowds, I think it was. It was, and him just worshiping and stuff like that. And there's a video of him saying that whenever he makes an album, he was on Dr. Phil actually. He says every time I make an album, I say a prayer. I make a prayer. And so the prayer 5, I think, is what is on Year of the Dog again, followed by Lord Give Me a Sign, which is one of the best songs I've ever heard. And it's that.
I might have to check that out.
Please do, man. Yeah. It's really an eye-opening prayer. And
what year is this that this would have dropped?
06. Okay. 06 is when Year of the Dog again dropped.
I was 5 years old.
Yeah, I was 3. Maybe 2.5. Maybe 3.
Sounds about right.
I'm first quarter. Yeah. But it's I heard that and I'm like, wow, it's truly mind blowing to see the soul that this guy had. And you know, it's I saw Alicia Keys. She was asked a question, who would you pick, Tupac or X? Or no, Tupac or DMX? And then she drank because there was no choosing between X and Pac. So it's really interesting to see the influence that this guy had, but still have that Christian side of him to be really like open and just show people like what he was thinking and actually put these prayers on his record. And when I do music, it's I'm not hardcore Christian. It's I have Christianity on my album. I have oh shoot, I shouldn't have said that. I have prayers that I've written. I have perspectives that I've written about the music industry and stuff like, and how it's turned to hell and to Satan and stuff like that. And so there's something for everybody.
Right. Is
what I'm trying to say. When I release stuff, there'll be something for everybody. And so
what's your writing process like, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay.
Like, how do you because every artist does it differently. Even people who do the same kind of music.
For sure.
You know, like what's kind of give me your kind of like just guy to guy artist, like what's your process, or is it different? Is it the same?
Sure.
Like
it's So one of the questions that people ask artists is it lyrics first or beat first?
Yeah.
Right? Because you start with either. And honestly, for me, it's rarely lyrics first. I normally have a certain vibe that I'm looking for at the start. So if I'll have an idea of what I want to write, but I want to look for the beat first and the instrumental first.
Right.
And it has to be a certain subgenre like boom bap or trap, or it has to be like a perspective kind of song, or maybe something along the lines of like a dark Kanye that makes you really think and like puts you in like a trance. I don't want to say that, but yeah, it's the stuff that where like you could story tell or like come up with stuff like when NF did Story or these other guys. And so yeah, it really just depends on the day, but I rarely ever start with lyrics.
Interesting.
I actually have a note on my app filled with like hundreds of ideas that or jot notes that I may want to
call it a hook book.
A hook book, there we go. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a hook book. There you go. I have one of my own on my phone, and it's just a lot of ideas that I might want to use one day, and I gotta say that idea before I lose it. And sometimes I lose it, and I'm like, no! And then I remember it the next day, I'm like, yes!
But now I'm in the shower, and I can't write it
I'm not with my phone.
Now I'm at work. Yeah.
And so it's, it rarely happens where the lyrics come first, but I think that's okay.
Yeah, whatever gets you, man, in that space.
So, battery is what. Oh, please pause. We gotta plug this in. We're actually getting pretty close to the end here. I'm surprised we made it this far, but we did pretty well.
Just breaking the action.
Here.
No,
here.
I don't know.
Hold that for a quick 30-second interlude.
30-second interlude. Should I sing something? Should I do something?
Yes,
Should
please,
I say
actually,
something?
if you want to give us like 4 or 8 bars or something like that of anything, you can.
I will give you the beginning of the chorus to Lost in the Wind.
Hey, there we go. Okay.
My voice might not sound great because it's actually a little sore right
Exclusive.
now. Exclusive. It's like,
no problem.
I might have heard those names, I might have heard them titles, but the truth of it was...
Wow.
That might have not sounded very great because my voice is a little sore. It will sound better, I promise you.
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah, man.
That is awesome. I love that. I've heard the song. I love it. I think it's awesome. It's a real country song.
Thanks, man.
And so
it's kind of flowy though.
Yeah, it is.
Like for a country, anyways. It's
like, hey, what's going on here?
It's a little flowy for a country.
Yeah, it's wavy.
Yeah.
It's like a wavy country kind of song.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that to come out. There's no date for that yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
It'll be soon.
Okay. I forgot where we were.
We were just talking about like your process, kind of.
Oh yeah, process. So yeah, it's different for everybody, And some people's processes are really interesting. I'll say one more thing about Vinny. He's a nocturnal creature. And if you look at him, he almost looks like a bulldog. He's got the huge cheeks and the chin and almost like the teeth, and his voice is really deep and growly.
Again, this is what we're gonna go viral for.
Vinny, I love you. You're number. You're in my top 5.
Yeah.
But it's like his process. It actually kind of it inspired me because he's a nocturnal creature, which means he won't write anything during the day. He's miserable during the day, but he'll write from 11 or 10 at night till when the sun comes up.
Wow.
Which is really interesting because I wonder, how do you get sleep?
Right. During the day, I guess. Or maybe that's why he's so miserable.
Yeah, it's I would assume so, because if you're sleeping, you're not miserable, but it's...
Man, I heard a cool story about the writing process for Jay-Z versus Eminem.
Oh.
It was a producer who's worked with both of them.
I think I know his name.
And he was on Joe Rogan. I forget the guy's name. He has like his weird long kind of beard thing, I think. Anyways, he's talking about like it's just interesting. Everyone's different. So like Eminem, everyone knows what a genius he is, but he always has like hordes of notebooks.
Yes.
Like he just has bins and boxes and like all these notebooks where he'll be in the studio or whatever, he'll just be writing, and he's like. And like most of it he might not ever use, but it's just like and I actually stole this. It's just getting the crap out, kind of, in a sense. Yeah. Like you might use it, might be your next hit, but you might never use it. But you're getting the garbage out so that you can get to that next one, right?
And you never throw anything out as an
No,
artist.
man. Like it's hoarding. Sorry, it's some can be better than others, but it's a bit of hoarding involved.
Yeah.
Whereas, so that's Eminem, but with Jay-Z, he just like, play me a beat. And he'll like a beat, he'll listen to it over and over.
I'm that way.
And then he's like, all right, and he'll go in and just start, Chia. That was awful. Again, that's what we're going to go viral for. But it's just like, and then he just goes. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting how like different guys are just different.
One thing I heard about Eminem is when he did The Real Slim Shady, when that beat started. It was his first day with Dre.
No, that was My Name Is.
Oh, my name. Okay,
hi,
right.
my name is. Yeah.
My name is. That was his first day with Dre. First time in the studio. First time recording, or not even recording. He was just like play it or something. And then as soon as it started, he's like, my name is what?
My name is who? My name is Chicken. And Dre's like, whoa, it's hot. It's hot right now. Yeah,
dude,
spicy.
And so that takes a certain type of person and a certain type of mindset and structure to have that type of talent, man. And
the lyrical genius, man. Well, and he talked about Orange too. Have you seen that Orange?
Oh yeah, of course.
I stole that too, because it's like, man, anytime I think I can't make it rhyme, I'm like, yeah, I can figure something out. Because he's like, I hate when people say it's like orange.
Yeah.
It's like you say orange. Yeah. It's like orange, 4-inch, door-inch, porridge. It's like, dude, and then it's like, okay.
It's the enunciation.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
100%. Like, genius.
Yeah, he's really he is the greatest.
Yeah.
And so I'm waiting for the surprise album drop, because that's what he did with Kamikaze and Music to Be By.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't even have any promo for them. He just here.
I hope he does promote a bit, because he might not be in his prime anymore, but people still tune in for that.
Oh yeah.
You know.
And he's still sharp. He's still sharp. I mean.
Well, I think Mr. MGK there found that out pretty quick. You think he's done? Buddy roasted him so hard. Buddy don't even rap no more.
I know. He quit
like,
genres, but then, did you see this? He started to seep back into the hip hop genre, and tried to make his way back with the cypheries, the backyard.
He'll go for NF this time, and then NF will kick him back into
Actually,
pop.
he went back at Eminem, dude.
I haven't even heard this.
He said,
"Are you kidding me?"
He said,
like, you're serious right now?
I'm serious.
Like, how recently?
It was like last quarter,
like recently, like a year ago,
like in the summer, like last,
dude,
or like in September.
When that beef first went down, I was in high school, and I remember going crazy over that. Just like people were talking about it, we're watching the videos.
Yeah.
He did not just say that about his daughter, and then and then Eminem, the genius about Eminem's comeback, and you and I have talked about this, but it's like, he was so slow and so chill, and still out roasted them. And I'm just like, he's like, didn't even care. He's like, I don't even.
He said, I don't want to destroy. He says, I want to destroy him, but I also don't want to make him bigger. like
there's so many things we could, like, so many lyrics in that where it's just like, and it's just, and here's the thing, I'm not gonna lie, as much as I like not an MGK fan, but like, he had a few lines in his that was like, okay, that was pretty clever.
Yes,
I will admit, like, I'm not gonna deny.
Yes,
even though I'm totally like not loving and cool with what he's doing, it's like he had a few lines in his that was like, okay, that was. There was one where I'm like, ooh, that was like, wow. I will give this to MGK. No one has a few people have been dumb enough to go at Eminem. Yeah. No one has gone at him as hard and as good as
That's
MGK.
The best. MGK
I can
is the
say
best
that.
Case.
Like, MGK, nobody's done it better at Eminem than MGK. But still, like, you. Yeah. It's like poking a bear with no bullets in a gun. You know what I mean? It's
I think a lot of people don't like the MGK song, but what I think is what he was focused on was not only lyrics but also production, and so I think
clickbait too.
Yes, clickbait as well. And
anyone who's gonna see Eminem get dissed, they're gonna tune in for that.
And also you milking the whole situation, because after that same week or whatever, he dropped that horrible album Binge, right? And so but then Eminem kind of chilled out on the beat. He got that one producer on, but he tore him to shreds. He tore MGK to
That was a
shreds,
whooping.
man.
Like, it sounded like he was just eating oatmeal and then got a text and like, oh yeah, I'll answer him quick.
Yeah,
Just
he's like, fine.
whatever, you suck. Like, and then MGK never could
Yeah.
rap again because he was destroyed so bad.
Gotta wake up Labor Day to this. Oh, now we're gonna get copyrighted. Doesn't matter. We're not. You can't take my money. We don't got none.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. And so, yeah, recently he did keep throwing jabs. He said he was in Detroit or something like that. I can't remember the bar. It wasn't that good enough to remember, but it was a shot. He says, "I'm in Detroit. I don't ask permission. You know what I meant," or something like that. Because he's Detroit, right? He runs Detroit, and so.
Yeah.
But you see M at his concerts, and people are cheering kill shot.
He's never done it, I don't think.
No.
I won't
And he
give him the
says,
satisfaction.
yeah, he says, I don't think it's cool to disrespect the dead or something like that. And then people are like, oh, okay, fine.
I can't believe he went at M again. Like, what does
Yeah.
it say in the proverb or where it's like a dog returns its vomit?
Yeah,
It's
dude.
like, oh,
It's
dude.
like, yeah, he's the
You
dog
didn't
return.
learn from the first time, man? Like, oh. All right, have fun choking that down again.
Yeah, man, it's
and
a
reference to that, I'll let you go listen to the song.
Yes.
But-
Yes. Go listen to Kill Shot.
Yeah.
It's a shame, man. He never learns, but it's you know what? It's okay. He's actually quite a good rock artist.
Yeah.
I kind of very briefly dipped my toes in that in his rock library, but then once everything came out about him and Megan Fox being those weirdos, I'm like,
oh man,
there's sharks in the water. I don't want to dip my toes in
Yeah.
this. So I step back very quickly, but every once in a while I still listen to Rap Devil. I still listen to Kill Shot, Kamikaze.
it's catchy too.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was a dummy to do it, but he did it well. It was.
I mean, I have respect for getting in the ring at least.
Yeah, it's like getting in this ring with Mike Tyson. It's like, you're a
Exactly.
dummy, but hey, I'll take him
Exactly.
$1,000,000 get punched by Mike Tyson, I guess.
Exactly.
Like,
It's he did his thing, but in the end, M came out and made him switch genres. So, yeah, but I think that's good, man. I think we got enough there. What do you say?
yeah, dude, we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you want to see Judah again. I think this was an awesome conversation, dude.
Yeah, it's fun.
And you know, when we on the way here, we weren't too sure about what we were going to talk about.
I was like, so how is this gonna?
Yeah, and like honestly, dude, I don't freaking know. I don't know. And so
We know each other well enough, though. It's just
yeah,
like,
exactly,
you know.
exactly. Honestly, if I couldn't get away with that if it was a brand new. But we've been friends for quite a while, so thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me,
it.
man. Anytime, I'm happy. It was fun.
Of course, we'll have you on in the future again.
Yeah.
Maybe in the summer sometime if you want to do that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching at home. This is the Jeriko podcast relaunched.
Woo.
We have a brand new merch store up and running right now. You can go and order yourself some. The link is in the bio. Judah's link is in the bio as well for his Instagram. Do you have a YouTube?
I do. Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
Those will be in the description as well. And of course, my Instagram, the brand new podcast face on the Instagram as well will be up, and the link to the Instagram will be there as well. So, thank you guys for watching at home. Different schedule for releasing episodes from now on. It won't be every week. I'm looking to do one every 3 weeks. Every 2 to 3 weeks, I'm wanting to have a guest lined up and recorded, because I will also be doing the old format as well, doing the online interview as well as in-person interview. I actually have a friend who I was talking to come over last week. Didn't work out. We had to reschedule. So you're actually the first person on for the season.
Cool.
So we have, I believe, Mike Panino. He's already agreed to do it. I've got my buddy from Saskatoon who is a huge Marvel fan, so that'll probably be a Marvel episode for you guys, and then maybe a couple other artists in the future. And so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for you guys to see what's been going on behind the scenes, and so stay tuned for all of that. This is the Jeriko, episode 1. Judah, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.